President.
How you doing?
I just got off with Bruno and Hess.
I'm sorry?
I said I just got off with Bruno and Hess.
You didn't say Michigan sucks?
No, sir.
I thought you said Michigan sucks.
Hi everybody, welcome to Buckeye Preview. I, as always, am Tyler Carey. That day has arrived again. All you have to say, the Michigan Wolverines against the Ohio State Buckeyes. After a year of anticipation, excitement, and yes, even a little heckling, the two biggest rivals in college football meet for the 109th time tomorrow at high noon from the Horseshoe. We can all still remember last season when the Buckeyes, having won the last 7 games against the Wolverines, were stunned 40-34 in Ann Arbor, despite a huge game by freshman quarterback Braxton Miller. I think all of us still get a little bit sick when we see that last wayward pass going over DeVere Posey's hands. But it's a new season, and as we look at the Big Ten standings, we can see that not only bragging rights are up for grabs, but also a few things in just plain football terms. Ohio State has already wrapped up the Leaders Division Championship. Unfortunately, they and Penn State both cannot go to the Big Ten Championship game because of very different circumstances and NCAA probation. The third place team, Wisconsin, has already clinched a trip to the Big Ten Championship game in Indianapolis, even though Ohio State beat them 21-14 last week in overtime. Over in the Legends Division, a few more things at stake for the Wolverines of Michigan. They were tied with Nebraska going into this week. However, as I speak, this is being filmed at about 4 o'clock on a Friday, Nebraska has beaten Iowa 13-7, so the Cornhuskers have clinched a trip to play Wisconsin in the Big Ten Championship game. Michigan is out. So technically, there is nothing to play for in this game as far as actual championships. But it's bigger than that. This is about bragging rights. This is about pride. This is about dignity and respect. The thrill of beating your arch enemy. I don't care if neither of these teams can play in the Big Ten Championship game. The fact that it alone is Michigan versus Ohio State is enough for anybody to want to sit down and do nothing but watch this game for 3 hours tomorrow afternoon. As far as keys to the game, start with Michigan. The Wolverines will win if the 1-2 punch of Denard Robinson and Devin Gardner at quarterback can execute the way they should. Ohio State had a little bit of trouble guarding running back Monte Ball last week against Wisconsin. He rushed for 191 yards and a touchdown. And we all remember the game that Denard Robinson had last week as the Wolverines snapped that long losing streak against the Buckeyes. He has been limited in the last 3 games due to an injury, but he was used mostly as a running back last week against Iowa. And Devin Gardner has emerged as the quarterback of the future at Michigan, winning the last 3 games at quarterback. Expect him to get most of the snaps under center. And with his throwing ability, along with Denard Robinson running the ball, it could be a tough task for Ohio State to stop this Michigan offense, especially because they were not able to do it last year, and this defense has been suspect throughout the season despite Ohio State's 11-0 record. So unless Michigan can stop the two-headed monster of Denard and Devin, it's going to be very difficult to win the game. Now, on the other side, Ohio State will win this game if they stop Devin and Denard, but also if Braxton Miller can have a big game just like he did last year in the Big House. Robinson, as a freshman, passed for 235 yards, rushed for 200 more, and threw for 2 touchdowns. And he has gotten even better. This guy is a Heisman Trophy candidate. Unfortunately, because of probation, I don't know if he'll win the award, but with the big game, could get invited to New York at least as a finalist. But more important than that, a big game against the Wolverines could mean victory for Ohio State and an undefeated season. Now, Michigan does have one of the best defenses in the nation, especially with their secondary, and that could hurt because Miller has not been a very good passer already this year. And Wisconsin was able to shut him down last week running the ball, so that could provide a blueprint for Michigan to slow him down this week. However, they were not able to do it last year, so However, they were not able to slow him down last year, so I am very skeptical as to whether they can do it this year. If they cannot, Expect Braxton Miller to... If they cannot slow him down, expect it to be a long day for the Maize and Blue. If they cannot slow Miller down, expect this to be a long afternoon for the Maize and Blue. Now let's get to my prediction. As this is really the only game that matters this week except for Notre Dame and USC, because I am, after all, a little bit of a Notre Dame fan. The Irish are going to win, by the way. This is the only game I will make a prediction on. Drum roll, please. Far be it from me to think that any team, regardless of the records or the point spreads, in this game is a surefire favorite. As we've seen over the years, anything upon anything can happen when Michigan plays Ohio State. There have been upsets, there have been blowouts, there have been close games, there have been just drop-dead boring contests. I expect there to be points scored in this game. The Buckeyes' defense is not spectacular. Michigan's defense has been pretty good, but they have not faced an offense nearly to the caliber of Ohio State's thus far, unless you count Alabama. I nearly wanted to pull the trigger on Michigan. This is going to be extremely close. But in the end, it all comes down to three factors. The Buckeyes have the better coach, the better quarterback, and the game is being played in Columbus. Because of that, I'm going to pick Ohio State 31-27 to snap their pesky one-game losing streak against Michigan. Let's be honest. If you really think that Urban Meyer is going to fail in his first attempt against Michigan, you're either a Wolverine fan or a mental patient, or both. I never really understood why anybody would root for the Wolverines. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Buckeye Preview, the final edition ever of Buckeye Preview, as there will be no other games this year, and I don't expect to do this when I get to Kent State. Thank you all for watching over these last 3 years. It hasn't always been fun for me, but you know what? Overall, I enjoyed it. Thanks for Buckeye Preview. I'm Tyler Carey. Thanks for watching. As always, go Buckeyes!